So he did inspire me to do my own research. I went out here and I watched a bunch of different videos. I even was able to research my own game. I don't have too many games on both the Series X and the PS5. And if I do, one's digital and one's physical. So I was able to test one game because I have a digital copy of A Plague Tale on both PS5 and Xbox Series X. So starting up the game from the beginning, loading it up, PS5 loads A Plague Tale in 52 seconds, Xbox Series X, 57 seconds. Not that much of a difference, pretty impressive either way, and that was my personal test. Now, I found this video by GameSpot, and it was putting out like insane times, and I was like, what is going on with this? And come to find out, they be lying. So if you find a PS5 Xbox Series X comparison load times, they're using numbers from the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. And the Xbox One X definitely loaded way faster than the PS4 Pro. Just saying.
Yeah.
Now, that said, I did find some interesting videos that I feel like were a little bit more accurate. And I compared a lot of different videos together to make sure that the times were similar and I wasn't getting any anomalies, which if I did, I didn't include those. But from turn on, from like dead power, it takes the PS5 23 seconds to turn on. It takes the Xbox Series X 18 seconds. Okay? Point Xbox. From rest mode, and remember, PS5 doesn't have quick resume, but if you have one game on rest mode, that game, and I can't remember the game that they tested, but it was the same game for both systems. The game that they had resume from rest mode on PS5 took 13 seconds. Guess how fast it took for quick resume on Series X?
Like 2 seconds.
2
Oh,
seconds. Wow. 2 seconds. Insane. So,
Damn.
Big ups, Xbox, right? And again, you can do that with multiple games. Get out of here. Resident Evil Village. PS5 can load up from a dead start from the menu in 11.5 seconds. Xbox Series X, almost 27 seconds. It was like 26.96. So, advantage PS5, very, succinctly. Now we're going to get into what I think was the really interesting part of this. I have several games that were available last gen, because another thing he said was that a lot of the games from last gen don't seem to load much faster. This is where I feel like that I think he is wrong. But this is where the data really surprised me. Because I was touting how much faster PS5 is than Xbox Series X, and he's right. There are a lot of games that I can point to that are PS5 exclusives that were optimized really well for the PS5. But let's get into it. Watch Dogs Legion. On the PS4 Pro, it takes 1:22. On Xbox One X, 1:05. Xbox beat it. On PS5, it took 16 seconds. Huge difference.
Wow.
Series X, 23. So the PS5 kind of edged it out on that one. Red Dead 2, 1:51 on the PS4 Pro. 1:44 on Xbox One X. Xbox Series X was 37 seconds, while the PS5 was almost 50. So Series X, way better with Red Dead 2. Who knew? Final Fantasy 15, 1:07 on the PS4 Pro. 48 seconds on Xbox One X. 22 seconds on PS5. 8 seconds on Xbox Series X. Wow. Yeah. Warzone, 56 seconds on PS4 Pro, 47 on Xbox One X, 37 on PS5, and 26 on Xbox Series X. Destiny 2, one of Big Nick's favorite games. PS4 Pro, 52, almost 53 seconds basically. Xbox One X, 42 seconds. And then the PS5 and Xbox Series X, pretty much the same. They're both like 28 seconds. Much better on this generation than the previous one. Right. Valhalla, over 2 minutes on the PS4 Pro to load up. Xbox One X, 1:27. And then the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, both between like 15 and 17 seconds. With the PS5 slightly edging it out. Again, not that big a deal. Borderlands 3, PS4 Pro, 1:42. Xbox One X, 2 minutes and 27 seconds. That's weird. That's the only one I saw where it was reversed. And then again, PS5 and Xbox Series X, 22 and 25 seconds. PlayStation's, edging it out. Cyberpunk, this was really interesting. You go from the PS4 Pro having 51 seconds, Xbox One X 46, PS5 17 seconds, Xbox Series X 8 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. I noted there was a lot of in-depth tests done just on GTA 5. So when it comes to rest mode, loading an in-game file, doing, the quick resume based off of, or the rest mode, Xbox Series X edges out the PS5 between 5 and 10 seconds every time. When it comes to when you die, so an in-game respawn, or when you're switching to online, the PS5 was slightly faster. Also, on a disc install, if you're installing a game from a disc, the PS5 could do the same game in just under 13 seconds, where it took the Xbox Series X 30 seconds. Now, I just threw a lot of numbers at you, but my conclusion, the solid-state drive on the Xbox Series X is just as capable as the PS5, and it's really going to come down to the optimization done for the games available for both systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. They've been feeding us lies.
They've been feeding us propaganda and lies, and we bought it because we were Sony fanboys.
Oh, yeah, we bought that.
Yeah. Now, not fanboys where I will vehemently defend and try to find data that fits my predetermined conclusion, because I'm not some kind of mindless consumer bot. But, yeah, that's one more advantage that the PS5 tried to pretend like it had over Xbox Series X, but it does not. So I'd like to thank Big Nkrumah for challenging me on that. Again, I feel like this generation, those previous games, both systems are loading them way faster, and that's awesome. But when it comes to faster loading times, it seems like the PS5 is doing good because the loading times are non-existent on their clearly exclusive flagship games where they're really optimized.
Mm-hmm.
And Xbox Series X is going to start to get a lot of those too, and then we're going to see how that shakes out. At this point, the only advantage in my heart that the PS5 has over Series X is exclusives that I like more and the controller. And that's it. Yeah. Everything else, to me, the advantage goes to Xbox. So it's catching up, if not exceeding, depending on what you value most.
Yeah, and when them exclusives start coming out, oh boy.
Oh boy. But hey, I love me some healthy competition, so let's go. Yeah.